Premier and Minister for Finance, Dr. Orlando Smith, delivered the 2013 budget address at the November 15th sitting of the House of Assembly, revealing his government's plans to increase revenue within the next 2 years and putting this territory on a path to economic growth. According to the Premier, operating revenue for 2013 is expected to be in the region of $298 million, which reflects an increase from the 2012 figure of $287 million. Premier Smith said operating expenditure is projected at over $252 million, down from $258 presented in last year's budget estimates.
The budget anticipates operating revenue in the region of $298,729,000 and net operating expenditure of $252,397,600. In addition, we expect outflows of $68,376,400 for investment activities, which includes capital acquisitions for ministries and departments and development activities such as the roadworks, the National Sewage Project, and the completion of the New People's Hospital. Financing for those activities is anticipated to be $33,995,000 and will be funded from loans to the amount of $33 million. The Transportation and Network Improvement Fund to the amount of $3 million and the Consolidated Fund to the amount of $9.935 million.
Meanwhile, Premier Smith forecasts a 1.2% increase in projected revenue for the end of 2012 and a 1.6% decrease in expenditure, which he attributed to a more efficient use of government's resources.
Our projections on fiscal performance so far indicate that our total revenue for 2012 will be in excess of our initial projections in the 2012 budget of $288.8 million. Due to higher revenue intake in some areas. Though we remain cautious and view this as a modest windfall, it suggests an increase in revenue over and above the 1.35% increase that we had projected for 2012. Another encouraging sign relates to expenditure. Madam Speaker, based on our year-to-date patterns of expenditure is expected to be in the region of $289.17 million, down by some 1.6% from that of last year. This decrease in expenditure is not a sign necessarily of decreased activity, but results from more efficient use of our fiscal resources pursuant to the policy we laid out on January 17th of this year.
Highlighting how government will continue on the road to fiscal recovery, the finance minister listed a number of what he called revenue-generating measures to be undertaken in the future. These will include increased trade license fees, a new work permit fee structure, and a more aggressive approach to collecting taxes and fees.
We have decided to institute the following revenue generation measures in the coming years, 230 to 250. 1. Changing the current work permit structure, where fees will be based on occupation type, with consideration given to average income by occupation type. Increasing trade license fees to ensure they at least cover the cost of administration. We intend to do this with a simultaneous exercise that revamps and enhances the capability of the Trade and Consumer Affairs Department to provide better service to the public. Increasing court fees to be more in line with the cost of the services being solicited. Introducing a general environmental levy, also used to fund environmental protection and preservation programs. The levy will be collected at the ports of departure from every person leaving the territory. Collecting a fixed percentage of the revenue of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission annually. Undertaking a comprehensive review of central government fee structure with the objective of raising additional revenue where necessary. Adopting a more aggressive approach to the collection of current taxes and fees and arrears by reviewing current legislation to give revenue collecting agencies greater authority to enforce compliance. Madam Speaker, the collective projected increase in revenues based on these plans hover in the region of $7.4 million to $15.9 million and another $15.9 million respectively in 2013, 2014, and 2015.
Premier Smith said the reserve fund will receive a $12 million boost, adding that he anticipates the fund to reach in excess of $37 million by the end of 2013. The finance minister also said that $34 million, or 11.69% of the budget, is being allocated for public debt, development, and reserve funds, while $8 million, or 2.91%, is set aside for various other ancillary items that include, among other things, obligations as a shareholder of the Caribbean Development Bank and provisions for various goods and services. The Premier said that although the challenges ahead are great, the opportunities to improve on the quality of life are far greater. He listed several measures to be taken by government to ease the financial burden on citizens, such as the decision to exempt residential houses from electricity fuel surcharges for December 2012 and January 2013. Legislators are now discussing the budgetary submissions with department heads during the Standing Finance Committee meetings. This will be followed by the budget debate in the House of Assembly.